Howdy! Welcome back to the Temprite Specifier. Today we're going to be going over the basics of selecting a direct-fired unit. So first click the Direct Fired button, and then it's going to ask for your location, whether you want the unit to be indoor or outdoor. For today I'm going to select indoor. And then it's going to ask for your CFM, so I'm going to put in 12,000. And you can see that once you put in those two pieces of information, the button turns green, which means that you're good to go. So you can select that, and it'll show you a few different options that you can select here. And just a good rule of thumb, typically the units go from least expensive to gradually more expensive as you go down. So I'm going to click the least expensive option, the CMA. And it'll lead you to this page, and you can see at the top here that we've selected a CMA 160 at 12,000 CFM, and that the location of the unit is indoor. And a good thing to do is to rename the unit so that you don't get it confused with your other units. So I'm going to call this the CMA unit, just to keep it simple. And now you are required to have three things in order to have a proper working unit. The first thing is a configuration, which you can select from this drop-down menu here. The next thing is either a temperature rise or an MBH input, so I'm going to put in 50 degrees here. And you can see that once you do that, it automatically updates the MBH input, and it does it the other way around as well. The third thing that you're required to have is a control system, which you can select from this drop-down menu here. Once you have those three things put in, your unit should be good to go, and you can click Calculate, and it'll show you that you don't have any alerts or warnings. For instance, if I hadn't selected a configuration, and I click Calculate, it gives me an alert because I haven't chosen a unit configuration. Now once you have those three required things, you have many other things that you can also select. For instance, I can have a disconnect on my motor, I can have a filter section on my unit, and I could also have an inlet hood if I would like. And there are many other things that you can also select. So you can choose the different drop-down menus in order to find everything that matches your particular situation. And once you're satisfied with it, you can click Calculate, and it'll show you whether you have any alerts or warnings. If you do, you would want to resolve those, but if you don't, you're good to go. And you can either select Output in order to get the quote information for the unit, or you can click Create in order to save the unit for later use. And that's the basics of selecting a direct-fired unit. We'll see you later.